What are the 10 best Mega Evolutions I have ever made? I love Mega Evolutions. It is by far my favorite of the generational gimmicks in the franchise. And as a Fakemon artist, I really enjoy designing Mega Evolutions for Pokemon that don't have any in the official games. There are so many Pokemon that deserve Mega Evolutions, and this might just be my favorite thing to design in the whole franchise. And since Mega Evolutions seem to be extremely popular in the community, I figured I would make a top 10 list ranking the 10 best Mega Evolution designs I have ever made. Now, I will only be including Mega Evolutions of real official Pokemon in this list. I have designed Mega Evolutions for some of my Fakemon as well, but since many of you haven't seen those before, I'm gonna stick to the real ones for this video. And again, this list is of course my opinion, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below if you would order them differently. I love to hear feedback on my designs in general, so come at me. When I design Megas and Fakemon in general, I'm just as interested in making the stats and abilities and such accurate to what I think Pokemon might have done if they were real. I come from competitive Pokemon, so I usually set a very specific goal for how viable or not I want a Fakemon to be when given its stats and abilities. But that's it for the intro. Now let's get right into the list. So starting off with number 10, we have Mega Tinkaton. I know there are divided opinions on Tinkaton, as it is a tiny pink cutie that is fully evolved and holds a human-made object, but I actually quite like Tinkaton. I think it's a fun concept, and actually one of the Pokemon I like more from Gen 9. Its concept of having a hammer that is over-exaggerated in size in comparison to its body, I quite like, so why don't we just exaggerate it even more? Make the hammer even bigger, make the hammerhead a literal rocket to give the swing even higher speed. Let's face it, Tinkaton's design is a funny design, but I think it was well executed. And that is exactly what I think about this Mega design as well. In terms of its stats, I just buffed its attack up to astronomical heights to make its Gigaton Hammer attack a delete button, but I still don't think it's overpowered at all. It is still very slow and doesn't really take hits all that well either, despite its typing. At number 9, we have Mega Heliolisk. Now regular Heliolisk looks unfinished to me, but I still kinda like it. So therefore I designed this thing. Now, despite being low on the list, I am actually quite proud of this one. I think it expands on the original design and looks similar enough but just more developed. But what I am the most proud of with this design is the concept and how it ties in with its ability. Notice I give it a new ability called Meteorologist. Now what this does is it changes its normal typing to match any weather condition that is set up. So that in rain it changes it to water, in sun it becomes fire, in snow it becomes ice, and then rock and sand, etc. It also has access to the move Weather Ball, giving it a 100 base power stab move that matches the weather as well. Now this, on top of being a super fast, hard hitting special attacker with good special bulk, makes it for a very viable Mega, honestly. I don't think it will be one of the most powerful ones, but just very cool and unique. And the final part is that the spikes on its head ring changes colors to match the weather condition, giving you a way to tell which type it has changed its normal typing into. I'm just very happy with this one. Now coming in at number 8, we have Mega Kingdra. Now I am surprised that Kingdra still hasn't gotten a Mega to this day. It is one of the strongest Gen 2 Pokemon and also seems to just be a very popular Pokemon in general. Now this is my take on a Mega version of it. I took more of a straightforward approach on this one and just made it look like a bigger and stronger Kingdra, as well as adding some extra details. Now this isn't as deep of a concept as the Heliolisk, but I think the final design here just turned out great. This is exactly what I would want to see in a Mega Evolution of Kingdra, just more Kingdra. It's such a cool mon that I don't want it to change much. I also kept this philosophy when making the stats. Kingdra has always been a swift swim rain sweeper in competitive, and this would be an absolute monstrosity there. Regular Kingdra has always done well, and especially in rain, even though all its stats are under 100. Now this Kingdra, on the other hand, is very tanky, will outspeed everything when rain is up, and will do stupid amounts of damage with its stab water type attacks. Even without drizzle support, honestly, this thing would be bulky enough to just set up rain itself, and then proceed to sweep. It has a 100% accurate Hurricane, and as well as Draco Meteor to deal with other stuff. This would just very simply be a top level meta Pokemon for sure. It is exactly what I would want for Mega Kingdra, and therefore I think it fits in perfectly. At number 7 we have Mega Mienshao. I have always really liked Mienshao, and I tried for the longest time to come up with a good mega design for it. It actually took me months, but in the end I finally came up with a design that I really liked, and boy do I think it's a banger. It still clearly looks like Mienshao, but it looks much more powerful and dangerous now, almost looking like a psychic type with its eyes and facial expression. I give it much bigger legs and much bigger wings. I have honestly no idea what they are, but you get the point. It is an older drawing actually that I might fix up a little at some point, but it still just looks so cool. As for the stats, I made it super fast and gave it sky high attack as well as keeping the regenerator ability. It very much just does what regular Mienshao does, but much better obviously. Its high jump kick attacks will be very hard to tank now, and I also gave it good special attack so that even physical walls will have to think twice before coming in against it. With a base special attack of 115, even without any investment, a stab focus blast is going to be quite powerful, and especially against a Pokemon that focuses on physical defense rather than special. This would definitely be a very strong but not overpowered Mega Evolution, and I absolutely love it. At number 6 we have Mega Rhyperior. This is such a fun concept, and I honestly thought it would be higher on the list, but the competition for the top 5 was just too much. Now I am stunned that Rhyperior hasn't gotten a Mega yet, honestly. I guess it must be because there are divided opinions on Rhyperior, and Pokemon seem to often prioritize more popular Pokemon when making Megas. I, on the other hand, am one of those people who really like Rhyperior, so I was always going to make a Mega for it. Rhyperior is already a drill Pokemon, so why not take that spinning motion and make the whole Pokemon spin instead? Yeah, I basically turned it into a Beyblade, where the whole body and its arms are spinning to drill holes and to hit its opponents. The only part that isn't spinning is the head part in the middle. For the stats, it remains very similar to the original, but other than the 30-point boost in its attack, there is one major difference. It is now fast. Because it can spin so fast now, it can move around much faster as well. This immediately makes it much better, and it no longer needs to use Rock Polish or have Trick Room support to be useful. I also give it a new ability called Hyper Spinner, which basically causes a rapid spin effect every time it enters the battle. Such a fast and hard-hitting Pokemon with such a strong move pool that removes all hazards upon entry would absolutely be a huge meta threat. If it was real, I think it would be one of the most popular Megas in competitive in general, due to how widely hazards are being used there. I am super happy with the design, the concept, and just overall very proud of it. But now on to the top 5. And at number 5 we have Mega Corviknight. I'm not the biggest fan of Gen 8, but somehow they just gave us, in my opinion, the coolest regional bird of all time. They managed to make a banger design despite mostly using just one color and a very basic pose in the official artwork. But it is so badass that there was no way I was not going to make a Mega for it. For the Mega I wanted to keep the same look, but make it bigger and give it more king-like features. Regular Corviknight already looks like a knight, so why not make the Mega the king of the knights? I give it a golden crown as well as some gold lines, which I think match really well with its dark blue coloring. And then I gave it a red ponytail like certain knight helmets have. The result? A design that is just pure awesome, from top to bottom. For its stats, it is very much just a stronger version of regular Corviknight. It is much tankier, hits much harder, and has the good as gold ability, making it immune to status moves. This would be a devastating physical wall in competitive, with an amazing typing on top of it as well. But unlike Skarmory and regular Corviknight, this Corviknight can also smack you really hard while taking your hits. The total package that this Mega provides would be one of the main meta threats for sure. At number 4 we have Mega Darmanitan. Now this design may not be any cooler than the previous ones, but I am placing this as the number 4 due to how much I think it improves on the original. I don't hate Darmanitan at all, but I always wanted it to own its concept more than it does. So how about this for a change? Just absolute madness and aggression. I can't think of a design that just screams danger more than this. It looks absolutely crazy and I love it. It's literally jumping through the air, preparing to hammer its giant arms down on you while bursting with flames and giant sharp teeth. Every time I look at this drawing, I just smile because I think it's so great. Now, in terms of its viability, I may have gone slightly too far with this one. It's a faster version of Darmanitan, but with extremely high base attack and above average bulk. The main difference, however, is that I gave it Galarian Darmanitan's ability, Guerrilla Tactics. For those of you who don't know, this ability is basically a built-in choice band. And a choice band on a Pokemon as fast as this, with this high attack, means that its moves are going to be absolute nukes. Especially with its Flare Blitz attack, my goodness. This may or may not be too much, I'm actually not sure, it's borderline. But my thought process was that its mono fire would somewhat hold it back, as well as its rather shallow move pool. But with an unrivaled damage output such as this, who knows, it may still be too much. But Pokemon already gave us Mega Gengar and Mega Salamence, so it wouldn't be the first time a Mega was too much. But overall, I am just absolutely in love with this one. Now for the top 3, we have the designs that I think just do everything right. Everything from design to rendering and viability and just everything. And starting with the number 3 spot, we have Mega Roserade. I always liked Roserade, but I always thought that it looked a little too weak when you just look at it. To me, it looks more like a middle stage, honestly. So I wanted to make a Mega that not only makes it stronger, but also makes it look a lot stronger, as well as just more developed in general. And here it is, Mega Roserade. I think it's the most recent design that I made on this list, and while I may think some of the previous ones look cooler, I think this design just does everything right. It's still Roserade, but looks way more grown up and stronger and still has all the class and elegance that Roserade always had. As for the concept and viability, it all ties together with the design. Notice how it's more spiky and looks more physical now? It is, as you can see, still a special attacker when you look at the stats, but on top of being much faster and more bulky now, I gave it the huge power ability. This makes it an actually good mixed attacker, something you very rarely see in newer generation metas. Most mixed attackers are usually just better off with one or the other, but this one was designed to actually pull off both at the same time. It is very fast, has great special attack and special defense, has access to Sleep Powder, which, by the way, becomes far more threatening now that it has higher speed. But because of its huge power ability, its low base 70 attack is now doubled and actually has the potential to reach even higher numbers than its special attack. This means that if somebody switches in a Blissey, for example, to take its special attacks, it is risking taking a super powerful Power Whip to the face, and that would be devastating. So this entry is just all around great, and I am just super proud. Coming in at number 2 is probably the design that was the hardest and most time consuming to draw, which is Mega Vespiquen. I always liked the concept of regular Vespiquen and Combee, but I always wished that it would just look stronger or evolve further or something. I just saw so much potential in the beehive aesthetic, so I wanted to exaggerate that further. So I started drawing, and I think I was drawing for like 3 or 4 hours before I finally finished this masterpiece, if I'm allowed to say so myself. I mean, this thing looks like a bee empress or the mother of all bees or something. I just thought it would be perfect to make a sword and shield made of pieces of its beehive. It was originally intended as a regular evolution at first, but I needed more megas for the Nordia decks, so I made it as a mega instead, and in hindsight I'm glad I did. For the stats, I made it a mixed tank with decent attack, but at first it may look underwhelming for a mega, especially considering how strong I made some of the other megas. Its typing isn't doing it any favors either. Bug flying is just not great. However, its main niche lies in its new ability that I created, Queen's Gambit. What this does is that whenever Mega Vespiquen goes below half HP or reaches yellow/red on the health bar, it gets an Omni boost. This means that if you get this boost, all of a sudden this thing hits super hard, it's going to take hits super well on both sides, and will be very fast on top of it all. And if you thought this might be hard to pull off consistently, there's actually a consistent way to do it. In competitive Pokemon, and especially in singles, almost every opponent is going to set up Stealth Rock. And since Vespiquen is 4 times weak to rock, upon entry while rocks are up, if your max HP is an even number, your HP is going to go straight down to yellow or below half, meaning you will instantly get the Omni Boost. This would still by no means be one of the stronger Megas, but since it has reliable recovery to get its HP back up, an Omni Boosted version of this would be indeed very dangerous. Now, this concept on top of a stellar design such as this was enough for me to give it the number 2 spot on the list. So what about this little fella? Is there anybody out there who doesn't like this one? Well, you know what? This is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Super cool, full of personality, and fits both as a hero and a villain. Weavile is just an SSS+++ tier design in my book. And if I could only choose one Pokemon to get a new Mega, I would probably choose Weavile. So here is the number 1 Mega Evolution I have ever made in my opinion, Mega Weavile. Now you may think that this is just a bigger and stronger Weavile, which may seem lackluster in comparison to some of the improvements and concepts the other entries on this list had to offer. But like I said, this list is my opinion, and what happens when you improve something that was already so great? Yeah, you probably get the best design. Even the stats are just stronger Weavile. But here it is stronger to the point that it would be absolutely a top level threat. It is lightning fast, hits extremely hard with its sky high attack coupled with its tough claws ability, and also has a very anti-meta typing. If you get a Sword Stance up with this thing, it might just end the game. I'm just so happy that I managed to Mega Evolve this S tier Pokemon without downgrading it, that I will happily crown it the number 1 Mega Evolution I have ever designed. You may disagree, but this design is just everything that I love about Pokemon, and it speaks to me more than any of the others on the list did. And that's it. Those are, in my opinion, the top 10 Mega Evolutions I have ever designed. Now I will be designing more Megas in the near future, so I might just have to make a part 2 at some point, especially if this video does well. Be sure to tell me in the comments what you think about the list and what your list would be, and if you like what I do, please also consider subscribing and liking the video. This channel is still very new, so all support is greatly appreciated. I have a long list of video concepts that I'm planning to do, so there will be tons of videos coming in the future. If you have any good video ideas or something you really want to see, be sure to tell me in the comments and I will consider it. But that's it for today, and I will see you guys next time.